How's it going, everyone? It's Alex with AC Flips. I'm going to do a little bit of a different video today. I'm going to film the entire process of me sourcing the product, shipping the product to me, prepping the product with Inventorylab, and then sending it off to Amazon. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but I hope that this process gives all of the new sellers out there some great experience at how to do the process from start to finish, getting your product to Amazon, and then starting to get sales for your business. First thing we got to do is source the product, so let's jump in. Okay, so I'm starting on Vitacost. I'm just going to do a little bit of manual sourcing to show you how to go through the process of doing that. Vitacost is nice. They have a 20% off your first order when you sign up for email. They have a code $20 off 150. Maybe we can stack those, not 100% sure. 20% off certain categories. So we're just going to look at a couple different products, get the process of how to manual source, and then we'll get into prepping those products. We'll try off Nature's Way. I know that's an OA brand. We get 20% off there, plus maybe an extra 20% off your first order if we can stack them. So we are just going to look at a couple different products. We'll open a couple of them up to start, ones that we think might be good to resell. All right, so let's open up one of these products, open the SellerAmp extension, and we're going to see that they have, the 20% off here. So this $11.49 is a little bit cheaper. We can see that this is a pack of 2, so we would want that to be a little bit cheaper if we're at 12. Okay, if the first one listed isn't, the exact match here, we always want to look and scroll for a couple different listings just to make sure. This one is a little bit low of a max cost here. This one is a pack of 5, which not an amazing rank, but a pack of 5 might work with a 20% off discount. Nope, the price is just a little bit too low for the max cost there. Let's just search a little bit further. If not, we're going to go on to the next product because we don't want to spend a ton of time on one singular product. We want to get through as many as we can. So that way we are in front of more potential profitable products. Open up the next one, the SellerAmp Chrome extension. Now we're looking at 100 capsules. We want to get this for pretty cheap. This one's going to be tough to beat there. Charcoal activated doesn't quite look like the exact same thing. A lot of these things, ideally we find the exact match of the picture. Sometimes you might be able to find, everything looks the same, and then maybe the packaging is a little bit different, but ideally we're finding that exact match in packaging. Definitely make sure you have the right amount of, capsules or veggie caps or whatever, is on the bottle. Make sure the dosage is the same. Make sure the amount of capsules are the same as well. Don't want to be sending somebody, they're expecting 100 capsules in there and you're sending them 20. It's a good way to get banned on this product and get a bunch of returns. A couple more products here, and then we will get into the actual prep work for sending our shipments to Amazon. Okay, we have 180 vegan capsules. Want to make sure that's the same. 1100 milligrams per serving. Make sure that's the same as well. This one is a 2-pack, but it's 180 count, 550 milligrams. This one up here is the same dosage, but not the same amount of capsules. So again, we want to make sure that we're looking at an identical match of products before, going and seeing, because you might see something that's, 300 capsules, and then you say, oh wow, the max cost is high. Well, yeah, it's because you probably can't find it for $12.99 if it's 300 capsules. Here we have the option to go between 100 and 180, so that's nice in case we find one that's at 100. We can maybe toggle between and see a little bit cheaper price, but it doesn't look like we're going to find a direct match on this one anyways, so I might just skip this and go to the next product. All right, so we have this charcoal, activated charcoal, Nature's Way, 100 capsules, 560 milligrams per serving. So again, we have kind of the similar packaging, but hopefully we can find one that is at least our direct match here. Looks like 100 capsules, 560 milligrams. Price is pretty low. It's basically selling at, the same price we can buy it at. So we would look for some sort of multi-pack here. We do have a 2-pack here, but again, the price is the max cost is really low compared to what we're actually buying it for. So I don't think we'll be able to find that profitably. And you can look into it, right? You can go into the listing and look at the charts and stuff. But right now, knowing that we basically have to cut this price in half, we don't have 50% worth of discounts, so it's not worth looking into. So that's why I'm just kind of cruising over this pretty quickly, because why look into something if it's really unlikely you're going to find it. Spend more time on the products that look decent, and then that maybe you have a better chance of finding them profitable, especially on like this Vitacost site where they do have so many discounts available. So that's it for the manual sourcing side of things. Let's jump onto Inventorylab and start prepping the products. All right, so there's a couple different things you're going to want to have on hand when prepping your products with Inventorylab, and that is these poly bags, right? I have a couple different sizes, smaller sizes, all the way up to these large sizes. If you're going to put large pieces of clothing in there, the little ones can hold like multi-packs of vitamins and small socks, whatever you can fit in there. Basically, you want to have multiple sizes so you're not scrambling, because some items Inventorylab will tell you that you need to have a poly bag on it. And then most clothing items in general, even if it doesn't tell you, you want to have it on there, because these products are going to be sitting in Amazon's warehouses, and it's dirty. It's not completely clean like you would your own house in storage. So you want to make sure that you have these things bagged so they don't show up to the customer's house, with some dirt on them or dust, and then the customer gets returned right away. So these are the things that you want to have. Also, a tape gun wouldn't be the worst thing to have either, because when we box up the products, we want to have some tape. This makes it quick. So I have a product here. It's these Nike joggers. One thing you want to do is rip that little price tag off on the sticker. A lot of the clothing items will have a suggested retail price on there. Rip that off. Make sure that the customer's not seeing that you bought it for $30 and you're selling it on Amazon for $60. Usually you get a return if that happens, but then you want to fold these things up real nice. You can research ways to fold them. Otherwise, you can just try to fold them best you can. Once they fit in the poly bag better, you don't want to have to use a giant poly bag because you didn't fold it very well. And then two, just so it looks kind of nice for the customer, because they want to see something that looks like it came from a retail store, not from somebody's basement. So got this folded fairly small, and I'm going to try to fit it in one of these larger poly bags that I showed you, and then we will be on to the next product. One last thing to tell about clothing is make sure this barcode, if there is a barcode on there, which you kind of want to leave the barcode, I normally leave the barcode on there, make sure you tuck that inside, or just make sure that when you put the poly bag on, you can't see that barcode, because we're going to put our own barcode on the poly bag after it's all bagged up. So we want Amazon to be able to scan that new barcode we put on, not the manufacturer barcode that's already on the product. So what I like to do when I'm doing a bunch of different items, right? Like let's say you have 15 different SKUs that you're trying to package up, and you need to polybag a bunch of different ones. Once you polybag it, sometimes it's hard to know what the size is. So I like to do all of one size at once, polybag each individual one that I need to. Then I like to add it to Inventorylab, get the labels printed, put all of those on, and then set them aside, go to the next size or the next product, right? If you have a couple of gray sweatpants and you have some mediums and larges, don't want to get those mixed up and put a medium on a large tag, because then you're going to get that return most of the time. So make sure you have some sort of system when prepping your items to know what's what, and make sure your labels never get misplaced. Luckily for me, I only have one of these, and it's a medium, so I know that I can just put one label on this, and then it's ready to go. Once you have Inventorylab open, you want to go to the list section and then list and prep, and that'll bring you to this page here, and here's where we can add our batches. So what we want to do is click the new batch page. This is going to bring up this kind of template that we want to select some of the items for. Obviously you want to have your ship from address, whatever that is if you're shipping from your house. Individual products we're packing, we're not doing case packed unless you are, but I'm doing individual packed items. Obviously we're doing these FBA, private workflow. I will label all of these myself, right? Because I have a Rolo printer. I plan on putting all of the individual SKU labels on myself. Box content is on. Do not care about max-min preferences, and then we're doing small parcel delivery, and that is basically it. Then we can create. Okay, so here are the sweatpants that I showed you while prepping, and this is a gray medium sweatpant, Nike jogger. I got these a while ago. Again, they got returned, after Christmas, and I just haven't gotten to them. They're still in good condition, so brand new, right? The tags are still on them and everything, so I plan on just resending them in. Hopefully get another sale for them and make some money. The buy box is looking pretty solid. I got these for $27.70 way back in Q4, so definitely still profitable, which is nice. Looks like the stock is pretty low comparably as to what it was in the past. There's only 10 sellers on the listing, so I should be able to get pretty premium for this product, especially at the price that I have. So if we can sell this for $69, that would be great. But what we want to do here is, once you have the right product and size, you want to copy that ASIN, and we're going to come over to Inventorylab and we're going to paste it up here. So search, it should pull up that exact product, right? Dark gray heather, jogger, medium. We're gonna select that product. It gives you some details here, 15K rank, clothing product, and it wants us to polybag, which we've already done that. Awesome. And then we're gonna scroll down. We only have one of those. Our average cost was $27.72. We bought this. If you have the exact date, right, you can look back at your receipts and you can see when you bought it. I'm just gonna say 12/21/2022 because that's when I bought it back in the day, sometime in December. I probably bought it from Nike.com, so I have Nike here, and once you add a supplier here, it will actually save them so you can look in the future, and then on your reports you can actually look at your ASIN profitability or your category or your supplier profitability. So if you have a bunch of different suppliers, it'll know if you use the same one over and over again which products you're making more profit on, and then it's just a nice metric to look at. If you're dealing with a beauty product or a vitamin or food item, something that has an expiration date, you want to add that here. If you have just a clothing item, you can cancel out the expiration date. Mine generates an M SKU, which is kind of nice because when I look at this product in the future, I can see, okay, it's sold for $69. How much should I buy it for again? It's right in the title here, the SKU. Got it from Nike, you know, the ASIN's here, and that's all super nice information to have in the future. And again, here's where you pick your list price. So you can pick any price you want. Obviously, we're gonna go off of what it's selling for currently, according to Keepa and SellerAmp, and $69 seems to be that sweet spot. So at my current buy cost, we're gonna make $22.60 per item on this. So once I add it to the batch, it's going to send that to my Rollo printer and print one label for me so I can put that on the product. All right, so I have my Rollo printer. This thing should come and print now. Once I turn it off and on again, it'll collect the signal from the computer and then hopefully spits out my label. There's the one label with all the things that I need on it, the barcode, and then I can put that on my product. Let's do that right now. The product here, messy desk, got that label, stick it on anywhere on there, and we are, boom, good to go on this first product. All right, so I don't have a ton of size options for poly bags right now, so I am just going to use some of these large ones and get some of my other clothing products bagged up so that way I can get them prepped for shipment in Inventorylab, and then I will come back to you guys once all of the things have labels on them and we can get ready to move on to the next step in Inventorylab. One thing to remember is if you have products with packaging on them, make sure you're covering up the current barcode because remember, we want Amazon to scan our barcode, not what's on the packaging. Cover that up real nice, got ours there, on to the next. One other thing I wanted to mention is with multi-packs, want to make sure that you have the barcode as well as a sticker that says this is a set, do not separate, something signifying that it's multi-pack. You don't want them to, rip your multi-pack apart when prepping and then one doesn't have the correct labeling on there. So when you're doing that, make sure you have this. And also on something like this is a mouthwash, it has one of those like seals that you have to peel off. So if the cap were to come off in shipping, for whatever reason, it's not gonna spill all over the place. So for that, I don't put a poly bag on something like this, just put the sticker right on the bottle. But for something like this, when this just has a little cap that can pop off easy and this thing can come unscrewed, definitely want to put that in a poly bag so it doesn't come open in shipping, make a mess, and get all the other products dirty or wet with whatever's in this bottle. So just a small little tip for you when packaging things that could spill. Otherwise, that's all of the products I have. I have an assortment of like 10 to 12 different SKUs, all stuff that either returns from Q4 or just items laying around that I needed to send in but have just been putting off. So there's not a ton of profit in this, but let's go to Inventorylab and go on to the next step. Products here, all the labels got printed out. Inventorylab does a nice job of telling you kind of the metrics of what you're shipping in. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff was profitable when I bought it, based on returns and different things, not sending in a ton of profit here, but at least I'm not just losing the inventory completely. I'm getting a chance to resell it. And then, hopefully it sells and doesn't get returned again. So now we can review the batch and it's going to bring us to this kind of overview page, basically just making sure you have everything set up correctly, the right amount of units. Then I'm going to submit that. And it's going to take us to the page where we put which items go in which boxes. So Inventorylab creates specific shipments based on which warehouse they're going to. They try to put everything in one warehouse, but if it's like shoes, sometimes go to different warehouses, and certain items that might be like hazmat might go to different. So just want to keep that in mind here, which is why I have 3 separate shipments. So at a minimum, I have to send 3 different boxes. Unfortunately, one of these has only 1 in it, so we can look at it. It's just going to be the 1 basketball shoe that I sent in. Super annoying, but got to do it. So we create that shipment there. That'll fit in 1 small box, which is nice. The other one is just these things. This might be hazmat, but anyway, it's going by itself. So another small box, and then hopefully I can fit the 3rd one with the rest of my items in this other one. Maybe it might take 2 boxes, but I think because everything's pretty small, a lot of clothing items that I can smush down, should be able to fit it in just a 3rd box. So once you create your shipments for all of those, I'm going to start with the smallest and work my way up. All right, so after you click the enter box contents in the bottom right corner, now we can go and set up the shipments for each product. So we have our box created here. Basically, since there's only 1 item, I'm going to assign that to my first box here. So I assign that. Now I know that once I get these shoes prepared, I put them in 1 box, and that box, just knowing that it has this exact shoe in there, I will have to save that for later. All right, so we got those shoes in the first box here. Now we'll set that aside and work on the next shipment. All right, so on Inventorylab, once you have the right item in the box and all of these are green, the box will turn green. Then we can just go on to the next one. We don't have to do anything yet. I will transmit all of the boxes to Seller Central at the very end once all of our items are designated to certain boxes. So now we're gonna go to the next smallest item, and that's gonna be 6 of these 2 packs, and I had 1 left over, so I'm going to put the single one there. Have the expiration dates. Basically, they're all gonna fit in 1 box. So I'm just gonna right away assign them, and then I'm gonna go find a box that will fit all 7 of those packs. So then we have our last shipment here. If we do need multiple boxes, I will be assigning them as I add them to the box. But I do have a slightly larger box that I should be able to fit all of these things in. Nothing really that big, so hopefully we don't run out of weight before we run out of space, because I do have some of these bottles that are a little bit heavier. Basically, you can't send in more than 50 pounds per box, so you have to make sure that you stay under that limit. Definitely want to scale when weighing your boxes here, but I think we should be able to get a box that's big enough that stays under 50 pounds, so I will start packing that now. Forgot that I do have 10 pairs of shoes here, so I am going to probably need multiple boxes. The shoes take up a lot of space. They're not heavy, but when you have shoe boxes, make sure that you put a rubber band around them. You don't want them to pop open when the person is putting them on the warehouse shelf and then the shoe flops out. And if it's a white or gray shoe, it probably is gonna get dirty. So just keep the box closed and safe at all times. It's time to organize box 2 and get the units selected correctly in there. So we're going to add a new box here. How many boxes? We're just going to add 1 because might be able to fit everything in 1, might not. And then we can start adding stuff to box 1. So again, I have, and once you create a new box, the newest assigned number will go right to that box. Wish I was able to get 1 more pair of shoe in there, but now I will get a second box. I think I have one that's the exact same size. I'm not going to close it up just because I know that, make sure that I have everything labeled correctly. I will just keep the flaps closed, not going to tape it up in case I have to go back in, recount things, set it to the side, make sure I know which is which, because when you have multiple boxes in your shipment, you want to make sure that you know which is 1, which is 2, which is 3, so you know you can label the weights and the dimensions of each box and what's inside of them, so Amazon doesn't get confused. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to push this way to the side, knowing that that's box 1 of this shipment. All right, created my 3rd box. We have all 23 of those going to the 3rd one. We have 5 of those going to the 3rd one. And then we have that last sandal. And that is everything. So once everything is selected and placed in the right box, then we can transmit all boxes to Seller Central. And what it's going to ask for is the weight and dimensions of all the boxes. This is why marking your things correctly or labeling them correctly is going to be key here. I have the one box with the Jordans in it in a separate area. Then I separated those other Dove sprays, and the other 3 boxes are in order from when I packaged them. So I just need to weigh them, dimension them, and send that to Seller Central to be able to print labels. And then once I print the labels, slap them on, take them to the post office, and that's it. You might want to get yourself a scale like this, just a nice little digital reader. Weighs up to like 100 pounds, so you hopefully will never have to exceed that. But it's really easy for weighing boxes, and then just a tape measure to measure should do it. When you're putting the box weights in, just round up to the nearest pound. For the dimensions, you can't be over 25 inches on any dimension. Probably should have mentioned that earlier, but Amazon will charge you a larger fee, or maybe they won't even accept the box if it's over 25 inches in any dimension. So just keep that in mind. It's nice when you have boxes of the same size, especially if you go buy a big pack of boxes from Home Depot or Walmart. They're all gonna be the same size, so it makes it easy just writing those same dimensions in every time. Sometimes I like to take a screenshot of all of the box dimensions and weights, just in case something happens when it transfers over to Seller Central. Don't want to run into where they just delete all of your stuff and you have to go reweigh and measure everything. It's going to be a pain in the butt. So take a picture, submit all, and then it'll go to the next screen. Okay, so once we transferred it over from Inventorylab to Seller Central, we're going to go to Inventory and scroll down all the way to Shipments. Under the Shipments tab, it's going to show you those 3 warehouses that we plan on shipping to. When we click Work on Shipment, that's where we can print the label to slap on the box. When we get to this step here, we want to convert to Send to Amazon. That's going to transfer over all of our information from Inventorylab, and hopefully this is pretty quick, and it just transfers all of that box info that we typed in. So as you can see, it has this one shoe that we have in that one box. We're going to confirm and continue. For the next step, we're going to put when we want to ship it. Obviously, I'm going to go to the post office right after I'm done filming this. So today will be the day that I want to ship this. And then it's going to calculate, how much it's going to cost for that one box. Obviously, the more stuff you're shipping per box, the cheaper it's going to be. If you can fit 100 items in one box compared to 1 item in one box, it's going to save you a lot of money. But $5.43 for one box is pretty cheap, so I'll take it. So we're going to accept the charges and confirm shipping. And now it has our shipment here. We're able to print, and then that'll bring up our labels so we can print those to our Rolo. Again, labeling the box is going to be super important. You want to make sure you're putting the right label on the right box so it goes to the correct warehouse. And Amazon's going to print out 2 labels per box. One is a UPS label. It's going to get it to the Amazon warehouse, and the second one is for the Amazon worker to scan it in and to identify what's inside the box based on that barcode. So make sure you put both of them, probably not right next to each other, so the UPS driver doesn't get confused, but you should have 2 labels per box. At the end, you'll click that last button, View Tracking Details, and then once it submits, we can go to Shipping Queue and go to the next shipment. All right, so you're gonna go to the post office, drop those boxes off. Takes anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks for Amazon to fully receive that product and be available to ship. So keep that delay in mind when looking at your payment statements and everything like that. But if you guys enjoyed this full walkthrough of how to buy the product, prep it, and send it to Amazon, please subscribe to the channel. It's definitely a fun video for me to make, but I don't do a ton of prep anymore. I have a prep center myself, but it was fun to walk through this whole process and show you guys exactly what it takes to get a shipment ready for Amazon. If you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.